everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Modern Farming Podcast, where agriculture meets education, innovation, and outreach.
We're your hosts, Chris and Tara, and together we're growing knowledge about the world that feeds us.
Thank you, Tara. And today we have a guest who is involved in education. I know you're involved in education yourself, so it should be an exciting podcast for you. Her name is Jenn Marcoux. She's an elementary teacher of the STEM program at Viera Elementary School.
Hi.
Welcome, Jenn. Could you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself and your program at Viera Elementary?
Sure. Hi, guys. My name is Jenn Marcoux. I am a former classroom teacher. I taught fifth grade for many years. This is my 20th year in education here in Brevard County. I teach kindergarten through sixth grade STEM. We actually are one of the first schools to kind of pilot the STEM program. And last year was our first year where all of the elementary schools in our county had a STEM program. So that was a super exciting thing to be a part of. And I'm just loving life and continuing to learn and grow and have these opportunities to bring to my kiddos. So
quick question. So Brevard County has started the STEM program in all their schools, which is what you said, which is interesting. Some of the schools have, like, for instance, an actual agricultural type program. It sounds like Brevard, they're mixing in some agriculture as part of the science, technology, engineering, and math STEM programs. Is that what you're doing there?
So some of us are starting to incorporate that into our classes. We do have the CTE program in the middle schools and high schools where they do have like actual classes and courses on agriculture and aquaponics and all that good stuff. So we're it's like slowly trickling into our elementary schools. So like a couple of us have aquaponics. I know there's a couple people that grow like mangroves and things like that to help with the environment.
Interesting.
So what are some of the ways that you foster excitement in your classroom to get the kids that are loving learning?
So I'm a big kid myself, and first of all, I just love science and anything that, you can incorporate into the science classroom, because, classrooms are so they're rigorous with the reading and the math and stuff like that. So I really just get to kind of pick and choose what I can align to my standards. And, when the kids are excited about something, I try to pull that into whatever we're doing in here. And, and we live on the Space Coast. So like we live in a STEM community. So there's just so many things that I'm able to pull in that relate to them, or, like their parents work somewhere or something like that. I actually had a family come in this morning, and they were so excited because they had chickens and a hydroponic unit at their old school, and they were so excited to see that we had stuff like that here. So it's just fun to be able to give them things that they may not see other places, like give them that exposure.
Awesome. And I suppose it helps to get them out doing things a little bit hands-on instead of just learning, right?
Yeah. I have the best job ever.
Oh, good. So how did you get introduced into the aquaponics system that you have there, and what was your first impression when you got it, or when it came in?
I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty terrified because I had a fish one time as a teenager and I killed it, so I was kind of freaking out a little bit. But so I was introduced because I had helped pilot this program. There's one of my district contacts when this was something that was introduced to them, and he was looking for people to maybe pilot the aquaponics systems. He thought of me and reached out to me to see if that was something that I would be interested in. And of course, how can you say no to that? Like, it's just so cool for the kids to see something that's so unique. And so it's just been a really exciting experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you feel that the kids, with them interacting with it every day, how have they grown?
I have to tell you, the kids are obsessed. I do the crosswalk in the morning and in the afternoon for, arrival and dismissal. And they will literally hang out of their cars and call out to me, how are the fish today? Or like when they're riding by on their bikes, are the fish okay? Did they have their babies? So it's been super fun because they just get so excited. And honestly, probably the best part of this whole thing is that I have learned so much from them and their experiences with fish and things like that at home, that it's really formed this almost like this little community within our classroom, because we all share this excitement and this new opportunity that I don't know, we're just all like, we just love it.
So you're seeing some growth in your students. Obviously they're learning, but it sounds like, socially and behaviorally they're changing too, where they're getting a little more outgoing or more, I'm not going to say excited. I don't know that you want elementary kids excited, but super interested in having the behavioral effect you're looking for with these guys.
They love it. And they'll ask me, speaking of like that social piece, there are times, they're like, you know what, Miss Marcoux, can I just go sit by the fish tank for a few minutes? And they do. And they will walk into the classroom, and I have to give them the time to go over and look and explore and observe and just see what's different from the last time that they were in here. But it really has just contributed. Not only have I been able to pull in different science lessons and technology lessons, but it really has even almost become like a calming like area for them. They just like to go sit and watch and observe what's happening in the tank. So it's been a really cool thing.
Do you have any specific project or lesson plan that you found a lot of success with the tank?
So we didn't get ours until January. And then, of course, it takes a couple months to kind of like work out all the kinks and stuff like that. So there was a lot of stuff that we didn't really do at the beginning, just because we were kind of trying to figure it all out and trying to get it all set up and settled. So it wasn't really until like middle, like March to May that we really tied in activities. Once we got to start seeing things happening. And I think one of the favorite things that I've done is we did a lesson on gills, and I had the kids kind of explore. We did a lab on basically how gills work. And so we were able to talk about, the differences between, like the human body versus how the fish breathe and everything. So that was pretty cool, because that's something that I probably wouldn't have done before. So that was a really neat way to bring that in with my littles.
Great. Yeah, that's great. So you've integrated that, or you had a good run at integrating it last spring, and you're going to continue to integrate some of these hands-on things into your STEM curriculum going forward, I would assume.
Yes. I actually, there is a teacher at Cocoa Beach High School, which is, probably 20 minutes away from here, she's a CTE teacher, and she has, and I'm sure you're familiar with this, but she has a floating boat, and she has a full-on aquaponics system that's, more advanced than what we have here. And she actually has reached out and wanting to collaborate with us, and even having her students come in and talk with our kids, and just kind of, I don't know exactly what we'll do yet, but I'm really excited to be able to see, since our unit is on the smaller side. I'm really excited to see, because she has this big full-blown, program over there. And so I don't know, I look forward to seeing what we can come up with, and incorporating those bigger kids coming in and talking to our littles. And I say littles, but even our 6th graders and stuff like that, kind of giving them something to, think about when they're going into middle school.
Absolutely. So you partnered with Green Gene Foundation to install a garden. What are your goals for that space?
Okay, so we just did this at the end of the school year last year. And so again, I have a hard time keeping things alive. So I'm really relying on the Green Gene Foundation to kind of guide me through that. I would really love to be able to, so some of the things that we kind of kicked around last year, my CTE teacher and I, is that growing like herbs and stuff like that. And then potentially having some kind of farmer's market where the kids, like she would teach them the financial literacy piece of it, but then we would, like in here, So we actually are going to do a different program this year, or a different thing in our classrooms, where we're going to do like a club that's happens like once a month during the school day. And so I kind of wanted to do a gardening thing where we could work on that. And then that would be like our goal for my little gardening club, to do that farmer's market at the end, and just kind of tying all that in and the sustainability and stuff like that. Again, I mean, in this community, that's not something that is common. So I think it would be really interesting for them to be able to see, just kind of a different way of doing things.
Absolutely. What do you hope your students will take away from the experiences and the time in your classroom with these, the aquaponics systems in the gardens?
Honestly, I just like to give them these opportunities to just, like, there's so many things. Like when you think about STEM, there's just so many things that they can do when they get older. It's not just being an astronaut. It's not just being a rocket scientist. Like there's just so many things that that apply to the STEM career field. And I just love that I'm able to give them these, kind of spark the interest in them. And, because like, maybe that this is something that they're going to want to get into, and, come up with some amazing thing that's going to be great for us in the future. So I just really like being able to be a part of sharing that with them.
Yeah, that's cool. And Viera, for those that don't know the area, it's growing in population. It's becoming very, suburbanly dense.
Yes.
But it's very weird. It's also got it butts up to all kinds of agricultural things. Like there's a huge sod farm in Viera, a massive sod farm. There's horses out there, and things. So it's kind of interesting because you'll have some kids that maybe have a country style background, right? And then you'll have a lot of kids that live in neighborhood communities, and they may not get exposed to this. And you really don't know until you expose them, right? You don't know
exactly.
You don't know if a child's going to like to grow things until you put them in a garden, because they don't know what that is.
We actually sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
So we had our meet and greet this morning, and one of my lovely, sweet girls that asks me every morning, she says good morning to me and asks me how the fish are. She stopped to tell me today that her birthday is in September, and she asked her parents for a fish tank. And apparently they've gotten this whole fish setup, because she's just had so much interest in what she's seen and hear. And it's so cool to see, it's a fish tank, but they've learned so much about how our system works. And, they love to try to, they are always telling me they think the fish are dead, or they're all, like they just love to observe that. And I think it's so cool that they are asking their parents to continue this in there. I mean, she's in 3rd grade, so it's just really neat to see that.
Right. So are you thinking of, so now you've got the garden and the aquaponics, which I think for us over here anyway is the first person to have both. Oak Park and Titusville's getting set up pretty soon with that at the start of this year. But are you gonna work on incorporating, how the nutrients, a little bit, you've got elementary school kids, but the way that I know you've shown them through the aquarium the way the fish feed the plants and the plants feed the fish. You're gonna try to work that out into the garden somehow by using some sort of natural nutrients and things like that.
I would like to do that. As I said before, I'm kind of new to all of this, so I'm really kind of learning as I go. And I really think that gardening club that I was telling you about is going to be such a good way for me to kind of just work out the kinks and figure out like where we want to go with this. And so, I honestly right now, I'm not really sure what our specific plan is, but I definitely do want to try to incorporate that into our lessons. I'm unsure exactly how we're going to implement it.
You talked about the teacher in Cocoa, but what about the teachers on staff where you're at and the parents? Have you thought about bringing them in to the different things that you're doing, or do you already have something implemented?
No, I don't have anything. So yeah, I mean, I would love to. And honestly, I do have a mom who she's an actual rocket scientist, but she has a gardening YouTube channel. So we talked at the end of the year last year about, that if we ever needed help or she, could give us advice or anything like that, that she would be willing to come in. So yeah, I would love to collaborate with anybody who does have experience on this. So I'm open to ideas, and I would love to learn from other people what's been successful for them.
What I think you have a good idea with the club thing, because what happens is you start getting people in to work with your club, and before you know it, you're learning all their tricks and all their stuff. That's
Absolutely.
That's a perfect way to do it. That's a really good plan. So that's a good future plan.
Is there any other area you want to talk about other than the aquaponics and the school gardens, but just in what you do with STEM and what you've done in the past with STEM? I know it's 5 years you've been working on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm just looking for any opportunity for you to tell more about yourself and whatever you want.
So one of the things that's really special about our school, our administration is amazing and they're very innovative. And so, they kind of jumped into this like, oh, hey, let's have a STEM program at our school. And like I said, we kind of piloted it and it's been very successful. Well, she's also, now that this STEM program has kind of, I don't want to say flatline. That's not the right word, but it's kind of settled and we're doing good. She said, hey, let's bring CTE into our classroom or into our school. And it's amazing that I've been able to work with my CTE teacher because she had a hydroponic unit in her classroom. And it was just so cool to be able to, because we had them going at the same time. And it was really cool for the kids to compare like what was happening in her classroom and what was happening in here and just how the different systems work. But it was so neat to be able to collaborate on that and to share those differences. I mean, the kids just get so excited. I mean, this is not a way of life for us over here. So it's just been really cool. And, sometimes we'll let them taste like the basil or whatever. And they just get so excited that they probably maybe they wouldn't taste that normally, but because we grew it at school, it's been, they're more invested in it. So for me, that has been a really cool thing. And just having her to partner with, because she does a lot of agricultural stuff. So I'm really looking forward to collaborating with her again this school year and just kind of seeing what we can do between the two of us with all the different systems that we do have. She was looking for what are they called? The aerial ones, the air plants?
Air plants, yeah.
Okay, so she was thinking she wanted to try to get one of those as well so that we kind of had a little bit of everything and just really being able to compare and contrast the differences and the life cycles of all of the different the fish and the plants and all that stuff. So
like you're saying, because she deals with water hydroponics, you deal with the fish tank, and so she wanted something with a different way it's grown without pretty much water every single day all day long.
Yes.
So that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and now you've got the garden to do the dirt planting too. So are you going to share that with her, or are you going to keep that all to yourself?
Oh no. She's totally in on it with me. So I may have unofficially volunteered her, but she would have done it anyway. So she's really into this. She actually bought gardens for the school. But we never got them set up. And then when I was presented with the opportunity to have the gardens here, she's like, oh, good. So I actually put her garden with ours. And so now we have a lot. I mean, we already had quite a few, but we were able to bring hers over too. And now we just have like a whole back of our school has these little gardens, and it's really cool. It's very exciting.
That's great. And Green Gene does co-sponsor our own farmers market here in Titusville.
That's right.
So that's in the plans, and that's part of the idea that Green Gene wants to do is to, and everyone, not just Green Gene, is to have some of these schools be able to have the kids grow something and sell something.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's experience. And they're it's probably pretty hard to teach economics to elementary school kids, but I say think a lemonade stand, right? Kids understand that.
They do.
Grow the lemons, make the lemonade, make a nickel, right? Or whatever it is, probably $1 now. But yeah, that they can understand, they can catch on to that real easy, especially when they got, they can take the money and go do, get a treat or whatever right after it. That things to them. And we need that, right? Because kids don't a lot of times understand that your carrots or your chicken are coming from not the store.
Right.
And here's where it comes from. And to pull that curtain back, you're not going to get all of them that are super interested in it. But if you get a few, that's a win, right?
Absolutely. And she's actually going to do hatched chicken eggs or hatched chickens this year too. So we got all kinds of things going on over here.
Do you think you're going to do a field trip over to that Cocoa Beach area with that other school teacher with her system, or?
So I don't know. I would love to see their system, especially because they have the floating boat. So I would have to, kind of work with my admin and see if we could work that out. I'm sure we could figure something out. But I would also love to have them come here and see like what we have, and then be able to kind of talk to us about what they're doing versus what we have here. So kind of like do both ways. So
like bring in their seasoned students in to talk to yours. Absolutely. Absolutely. It always is received really well when students talk to students.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I have one more question, and it has to do with the future. And we started down the road a couple of times, but you're working on this. You were in the pilot program, and now you're working in STEM, and we're really getting the ball rolling with some of these agriculture things that you're doing, and other schools in the area are too. Where do you see this getting even better in the future? Do you see things improving even more? What do you see in the next, let's say, another 5 years with this type of education?
I mean, I feel like the possibilities are endless. Like, and I truly mean that. And our kids are so creative that, I mean, it's hard to even like pinpoint what I think is going to happen, because they bring so much to me and share so much with me about things that I would never think of. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what it looks like, but I know that whatever it is, it's going to be amazing and exciting. And I know we'll be successful because we work really hard and we have such an interest in it that I'm excited to see what happens.
That's a unique and smart answer. Usually people, when we ask them that, they try to predict what they think is going to happen. But to say that the children, the consumers of your education are going to drive it, that's a very interesting thought that that I don't hear a lot from folks that are in charge. So that's an interesting take on that. I like that.
Thanks. I tell you what, they're going to do great things. These kids they're smart.
They'll surprise you.
They
All
do.
right. So Jen, we'll let you. Is there anything else you want to touch on at all down the road?
I think we talked about a lot of stuff. I just, I'm very thankful for you guys and for the opportunity to bring this into our classroom. So, thank you so much for, just giving teachers this kind of, I know I keep saying opportunities, but it is, and it's something I never would have done on my own or thought of. So, I'm just very thankful for you guys and thankful that people believe in us and like to give us a chance to try something new out. And, I'm excited. I'm excited to see, do another year, and our system has finally kind of settled. And so I killed my first 2 round of fish, which was very traumatizing, but now it's like really settled and our plants are growing, and we've had so many baby, so many fries in there that, it's exciting. I can't wait to like share what's happened over the summer with the kids. And
so tell us more about your fish tank. And I heard that you had babies in your fish tank. How did that work?
Okay, so it was a very much trial and error process. I was constantly emailing Anne and, asking like, oh my gosh, what am I doing wrong? I don't, because I felt a very big responsibility for these little lives in there. And so I had some confusion at the beginning on how to, and really just kind of didn't understand the process and how, the chemicals in the water like make a big difference. The temperature makes a big difference. The light, all of that stuff. Like I had to learn so much, and it was definitely trial and error. And it took a couple months for our system to really kind of even out. And I killed the first 2 rounds of my fish, and it was awful. But it was once we kind of, Anne really helped me a lot. We kind of, she would give me tips and tricks here and there. And then I really think what our game changer is we added a heater to the water. And I really, truly think that made all the difference, because now, and especially, I really do think that kind of observing the fish behavior, they don't necessarily want to have their babies while all the kids are here. They like their like little quiet place is what I'm gathering. And so over the summer, like it just took off. We had so many babies that my custodian was taking care of them for me, and he would send me pictures every day. He'd feed them and take pictures. He's a little fish whisperer. And so I came up a couple different times. I had to end up there was like 50 babies in there, which is, I couldn't even believe, because I killed the first 2 rounds of fish. So it's like mind blowing, but we figured it out. It took some time, and now it is just exploding. And I actually had some parents, at our meet and greet this morning, take some, because I was like, guys, I have so many, like, you have a tank at home, will you take some? And so I was like passing fish out at our meet and greet today. So yeah, it's been a little up and down, but now it's awesome.
Great. I think that's an aquaculture lesson, because if those were tilapia, they'd be making their way to people's plates.
True. That's very true.
Okay, Jen, I think it's about time to wrap up, but we'll give you a chance to say one final thoughts. What would you like the audience to hear and remember as we close out the show?
I would just love to see people continue to be, a lifelong learner, and just, continue to explore and, look at things that maybe you wouldn't normally be interested in, because it can turn into a big passion. So just continue learning and be open-minded. That's my biggest takeaway.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jen, for joining us today and talking about your program there at Viera Elementary School. And thanks to everybody for watching out there.
Be sure to follow us and share, and join us again as we grow in knowledge about the world that feeds us. And we want to thank our sponsor, Green Gene Foundation, cultivating agricultural excellence in education.